First off, welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and you've now won three straight championships in the Metro West for
We
the
have
third time, and
16 out of 30.
yeah, that number is insane. So I guess my question to that is, what do you take lesson wise from those experiences of winning 16 championships, and especially last year since that's more fresh, um, and move that into the 2025 season to help you hopefully four-peat?
Sure. Well, I can tell you there's always change. Some guys come and go. Some guys, such as myself, get long of the tooth, and we look to improve. And we also like to get some experience. We've added a couple of players. Uh, Jay Hussey, who is one of the nicest people to ever meet, one of the best teammates I've had, will do anything for anybody. Always comes up with a big hit, always tries to help. He's like a built-in coach player. And we added Brian Curran's brother, Chris Curran, who had some professional experience in the past, getting back into it after a few years. I believe he played in the Nationals organization for some time, and yeah, he's a great guy. Came to batting practice. Him and his girl had a baby a couple years ago, so that's why he hadn't played in a bit. But it's like riding a bike, and he's ready to go. So we've added some players, and I don't have to play, which is I play in other leagues, but Orioles are my baby, and I've been with them since 2002, and the organization has won 16 championships in 30 years, and I was there so '02, so I missed about six of those, so I've won about 10. And you learn a little bit, like, what if you don't win, what did you not have? Usually it comes down to pitching and timely hitting. um so we all might be a little long in the tooth for a roster. We got some guys that are in their late 20s, early 30s, but the majority of our roster is 40 and up. And we still have Dick Scolari, who's 83, who's been there since the very first Orioles championship. And last year was our 30th season of existence in the Metro West. So he's been there for all of them. And this is a guy who every Saturday since right after Christmas throws us BP in Medfield for an hour, and then he hits his ground balls for a half an hour on the infield. 83. So, it's the old Orioles. Another guy that does it too is Aubrey Doyle. He's 65. And it's the old guard helping the newer guard. And it's quite the family atmosphere. And that's what I've been trying to establish for the past, 20, 23 years. I've been doing it now.
Um, what was your favorite moment from last year's 28 plus division championship and why?
I will say this. We always battle with the Cardinals. Andy Quinn is one of the best pitchers the league has seen. He won the MVP and the Cy Young, and the batting title last year. I mean, this is a guy who it's just hard to play against Andy. He gets on base all the time. He's a phenomenal pitcher. He pitched at Assumption years ago. We It was a three best out of three game series, and we won the first game. Had no business winning the first game. Uh, they won the second game. They had no business winning the second game. It was one of those, just we made an error in a key spot. They scored the winning run. They made a key error in a spot. We won, and so it came down to game three. And I think they had us, and it was just one of those. The baseball gods stepped in. We hit a ball, it goes off a guy's glove, run scores, they overthrow it. Base hit up between the pitcher's legs. I mean, when the hell does that happen? And it was just, that was. Well, they are our rivals, but they're also our friends, and it was one of those. You almost hated to see anybody lose. series, and we were fortunate to win it. And years ago, they beat us on a fly ball to our center fielder who won MVP of the league a couple of times years ago, and he got his feet tangled up, ball dropped in, and they won. So, that's baseball, I guess. But that was, seeing last year, that was just, we've won a lot of titles, but they're not easy. And I think we got lucky last year. That was one of the few that we were kind of lucky. You make your own breaks, but we'll take it.
Well, funny you're mentioning Andrew Quinn. Obviously he won MVP and Cy Young last year.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what can you expect from him in 2025 and people also watching as well or who will come to games?
I'll say this about Andy. You know what? Andy's a guy who, uh, if I'm him and I know he wants to win just as much as the next guy, so we're both pretty competitive. He's doing everything he can because, under his breath, he's going, effing Curry. Can we just, I'm so sick of the Orioles. Um, he's a good guy. I mean, it's going to come down to us at the end again, this year, hopefully. And I'd rather play him every week you know, than have games where you win 10-0 and it's over in 5 innings. I mean, anytime Quinn's pitching, it's like, uh-oh, better put your big boy boots on because he's going to make you look stupid. I put a lot of time and effort in this team, and I want to surround myself with a family atmosphere. When the Royals were in our league, Anthony Perry had that team to the point where they had cookouts afterwards, regardless of the field they were at. And I was jealous of that because a lot of our guys would rather just get the hell out of there and spend the rest of the weekend at home. And now we have the girlfriends, wives, they bring their newborn babies, their kids. Um, Matt DiTullio, who was an MVP of the league, who passed away a couple of years ago from cancer, his father comes to all the games still, and he wants to be part of it, and he likes to hang out with Maddie's boys, which is all of us. So it's really I look forward to the season every year, and this is these are not only my friends, they're my family, and with Dickie there, who's 83, and Stan Polnick, who's another former Oriole, who's 72. He's got health problems. He keeps the book. Amy Barry, Steve Rob's girl, does a better book than anybody I've ever seen in my life. She does the book most of the time. But Mr. DiTullio comes down and he says he does it because he wants to remember his son in a positive. And Maddie was a big part of our team for a few years, and then he got sick and passed. And he even comes down the Cape to our games to the Cape tournament. So it's awesome, and I know it's coming to an end at some point, but I'm going to keep going as long as I can because like I said, these are all family for me. So the Cape Cod Classic. It's our 30th anniversary of the tournament. I got the privilege of taking the tournament over from Alex Maisel and Peter Beck 3 years ago, and I've invited them to come down and throw out the first pitch. And they're great guys. They're old baseball guys. Now I'm an old baseball guy, so here's what you can expect. We have teams from New York, Vermont, New Jersey. Um, a lot of the Boston teams come down. There's 18 teams. There's two divisions, 28 plus and 45 plus. All teams are returning this year. Rob Stevenson's team has the most titles down there because he's in the veterans now too. He always brings all the studs down there. Him, Johnny Hayes, all those guys. Um, but we've won it 6 times actually, and I started going down there in 2002. And it's just we rent a house in Chatham, and about 8, 9 of us hang out there, and it's the best. It's just so much fun, and it's a good way to close out the summer. But this year we got a few. I'm planning some prizes for everyone down there this year, and we might have some food items Friday night when we come down for the meeting at Veterans Park. We'll add some other things for the champions. It's one of the better tournaments in the area, and it's a really good baseball. And we lost in the finals in the 28 division last year to the Connecticut Cowbells, and they had like 4 ex minor leaguers on the team. And the kid that was pitching for them was an absolute stud, AAA pitcher. And talking to him after the game, I mean, you couldn't help but admire the guy's ability. But what a nice guy! I forget his name, but what again, it's just you want to win, but when you get beat and you talk to these people, everyone appreciates everybody on there. It's just I enjoy it. I've done tournaments all over New England. I went down to Fort Myers in 2018. It's a blast. And, being responsible for the tournament now, I want to make people want to come, and I want it to be really good baseball on some really nice fields, and, and see what happens. And it's been a blast. And I'm going to continue it in 6 feet above ground. I'm going to keep doing it. Like I said, we're going to have a couple of different vendors. Moto Cabra, a friend of mine, Craig, I play with him up in Leominster. He sells batting gloves, baseball gloves, and he's endorsed by David Ortiz. He was there last year, right at Veterans Park. So we've got a number of things in the pipeline that hopefully come to fruition. I have a massage therapist that might be there for an hour or two at each field. Again, I've been to a few different tournaments. I've talked to Brett Rudy, gotten some ideas, and I want people to really want to. I don't want it to get stale. Let's just put it that way.
So obviously you've talked about where we talked about the fact that you guys have won three in a row, and that you obviously, I'm assuming, would want to make that four. But is there any additional pressure to doing that, especially since you've done it three other or two other times before that?
Uh,
What
I,
does
I,
that look like?
I guess I would say that when you win, um, you're always going to get the other team's best. And so if you lose a game, it's like, uh-oh, we lost. What's going on? What happened? We got beat. We had a game last year against the Maynard Yard Goats, and Steve Cataray for us pitched, and he had like 19 strikeouts, and we lost 3-1 on like a 2-run home run. That was an absolute bomb. This guy Zane, he's an animal for the Goats. He's awesome. Catcher for them. Absolutely crushed. I think it just land. Hold on, I think it just landed. And it was just one of those games. We were just like, there's nothing. What could we not have? We didn't. We got beat. What are you going to do? So there is pressure because every week it's like, oh, it's the mighty Orioles. Listen, we're just as good as the worst team. I mean, the worst teams. Anybody can beat anybody at any given time, and our league has improved. The pitching has been great. The Brewers have a kid um, from the Dominican who lefty had 14 strikeouts in the All Star game against the Masters last year. We beat them 2-1 on a pass ball. So there is pressure, but we have a team of guys that we don't want to let their kids beat us at checkers. We want to win the game, and we're not there to lose. So, and I think majority of the teams, if not all of the teams, feel the same way. All of the teams have improved in the off season. The Red Sox have loaded up, the Marlboro Red Sox. The Cardinals are always tough. Um, we have a new team this year, the Worcester Nationals. Their manager is Carlos Mejia, great guy, played in the league for years, was with the Cardinals last year, and called me in December and said, "Hey, Curry, can I put a team in?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Of course. You know how leagues are hemorrhaging teams. I'd love to add a seventh team. We used to have 12 teams, and a few got long in the tooth and didn't want to do it anymore. And, some teams merged. And I play in a league in Leominster. It's the same. There's 6 teams. There's a gap between the 28s and the 38s. That age group, there seems to be a gap. Um, Even Rhode Island, I play out of Rhode Island in a 50-plus team league, and they have 6 teams as well. So we added a team. Uh, Carlos, I know, is going to bring some guys that can play. They got St. John's JV field in Shrewsbury, which is highbrow area, Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. So it's the league is solid. The teams are all pretty solid. Um, we're excited. We're ready to go. We're gonna get rained out this Sunday because the weather sucks. Then next week's Easter. Then you got to hide Easter eggs for the kids, and. So probably not going to start until the 27th, which blows.
Yeah, Mother Nature just does not like your league.
It doesn't. One year, about 10 years ago, we had 8 rainouts, and it was just like, what are we going to do? What can you do? There's nothing you can do. We got to build a dome or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, while you're waiting for that, obviously one thing that people familiar with this channel last year, we saw you go to Mass General. Obviously, we went together
Yes.
to do the cryo chamber. How did that
Yes.
improve your game while you were still playing last year, or just
Well, here's what I'll
help you
tell
in
you.
general?
That's great you asked that question. Ever since then, I ended up I fell down the deck stairs in my back at my house, and I ruptured my L4, L5, and S1. That was right. I want to say 2 months before we went to that. We went to that place, the cryotherapy and everything. And since then, I had an MRI. Give me the results. I have cupping done once every 2 weeks. I had some lower back surgery. They did a little injections where they cauterized a couple of nerves, and I'm free and easy now. I mean, look at this. This doesn't hurt at all, which is strange. So since that, I've been taking better care of myself and working out with a trainer a couple days during the week to get my. I just want to play, and I don't want to stop playing. And this is my social hour. I don't drink. I don't go to the bars. Um, and this is I guess to answer your question, it got me more focused on my health, and I've been taking it more seriously because you get one body. And yeah, I've been working out quite a bit since then. Not going to win any awards, however.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
But again, to kind of focus on the improvement thing, because obviously that's something on a personal level. But team wise,
Hmm.
obviously you guys have won three in a row, and we have said it multiple times in this
Sure.
video. But is there anything that you think your team needs to improve to make sure that a four-peat does happen if that's
Yeah.
in the cards?
Yep. Yep. We don't want to get complacent. We don't want to think just because we roll out the baseballs and the bats that we're going to win. And we have a lot of guys. Of course, Dino's not going to allow anybody to, lollygag around the infield. He's going to scream at everybody. But he wants to win just as much as I want to win. And Dickey, 83 years old, is out there hitting ground balls before games, getting us ready in the off season. And it's like, hey, let's go. 83-year-old is telling us to get our ass in gear. Let's get our asses in gear. Pitching wise, it's always about pitching. We have guys. We have Brian Lindsay, Steve Cataray, Kevin Allegrezza, Nick Dill, and Chris Dion is on the roster, and we want to. Hopefully, he's going to come out and play a little bit with us. All great guys. Is there enough innings for everybody? They all are bulldogs. They all want the ball. Brian Lindsay will pitch 14 innings in a day. We don't need to do that because by the end of the season, this one's hurt, this one's back's hurt, this one's arm sore. And Brian Curran is also one of our pitchers. So, and Brian Curran had a little unfortunate accident at work. He's going to be out a couple days, a couple weeks. He's almost back 100%, but almost had a nasty injury and almost didn't make it. You know what I mean? You get hit with a garage door. But he's back. He brought his brother with us. He's going to join us, and we're going to be better for it. But as far as being complacent, that's again, just because the mighty Orioles won three in a row doesn't mean they're going to win again. And we're all competitive. We all want to win, and we're not just going to act arrogant. That's for sure.
Well, obviously, opening day might be delayed a little bit because of.
Yeah.
But what are you looking forward to most against the? I believe it's the Mets,
Yeah.
West Mets. Sorry. Um,
Another great guy, group of guys,
yeah.
all fun guys.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing all my teammates in the same place at the same time. And then they bring the wives and the girlfriends and the kids, and there's a couple guys that have newborns. So it's, again, here we go. Let's get the season going. Let's get everyone together and, have a drink after the game or, it's 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 really the best group of guys. And, I've worked, I'm very picky with who we add to the team. I want to make sure they fit. We've had guys come and go. We've had guys come to the team and then just weren't a fit at all, for one reason or another. But I look forward to opening day, and even the umpires. All the umpires are great guys. Mike Patella he's the umpire coordinator. He was a former player in the league for the Braves. Wonderful guy. Helps me get the permit down at Medway High School and Medway Middle School. So it's fun. We all enjoy it. I'm getting excited. I got my Orioles hat ready to go. Might have to get a new one. It's kind of dirty, but we're ready to go, Whitney.
Well, that's good. And obviously, with it being a long season as well, how do you help your team and all the players maintain, their ability to have a long season like that?
Sure. Sure.
With all the tournaments in between the 100 innings, if anyone participates, and what's the biggest key to making sure that that happens so that you're able to
That's when
control?
that's when my parenting still skills come in. I have 4 children and I have 18 of them on Sundays, including myself. But there are guys like, no, 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 I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And they're limping. It's like we got enough guys. Go sit down, take a break. You can just hit. Don't worry about playing the field. Or I'll have 4 or 5 outfielders in the lineup. We'll bat 11 or 12 and then have the outfield rotate a little bit. Because, Alex Hall, he's going to play center field and he's going to run around like a maniac. And by the ninth inning, he's out of breath. It's like, this is a kid who hasn't missed a batting practice ever this year. And we hit Saturdays with the Orioles and Tuesday nights in Worcester with our Leominster Brewers team. He's always there. He brings his 1-year-old with him on Saturdays. He's someone you got to just say, hey, stop, take a break. He's fast. He steals bases. He's running all over the place. Just calm down. So we'll rotate our outfield. We'll rotate guys in the infield. Um, Brian Curran is our third baseman, so he's going to probably miss the first couple games. So we'll stick. Dino will play there. I can play there. Kevin Allegretza can play there. We get guys that once playoffs start, everyone should be fairly fresh. So that's why we have 18 guys on the roster, and that's really it helps us throughout the season because everyone's playing in other leagues on other teams. Um, our catcher Paul Goodwin is just a beast, and uh, Goody, hey, why don't you just have someone? Why don't you have Hussey catch second game? No, I'm not doing that. I'm scared. He's an animal. He rakes, blocks everything, doesn't wear a cup. I don't understand that. But you got to have quick hands. That's what he says. And he's unbelievable. He's one of the best catchers I've ever played with. So, but he's an animal. He wants it. He doesn't want to come out. Um, so sometimes there's a couple of those plays where you just got to say, you're not playing. You're going to play 3 innings. You're going to sit, keep the book, talk to your girlfriend on the sidelines, cheer the guys on. We want you for the finals and we want you for the playoffs. So I get it. I didn't want to come out either. I mean, I had to be life lighted off the field one year, a couple of years ago. So moron. I get it. Drink your water. It is what it is. But that's what we got to maintain. We got to maintain everyone's health throughout the season. And if someone's hurt, they don't come. Hey, my calf's bugging me. You know what? Stay home. Take this week off. Next week we don't have a game. That gives you 3 weeks so you can, everyone's pretty good communicating, but I try to pay attention to that stuff now more because we're all older.
Fair enough. And then just final question, because I know we're on a time limit here.
Yeah,
Uh,
take your time.
who's going to be the MVP for your team MVP, and why?
Paul Goodwin. He's just. I, I wish I was as good as he is years ago. Um, I mean, I've had ankle, knee, back, both rotator cuff surgeries. This is a guy who, I mean, he's always in the top three in the league in hitting. He's always in the top three in the league in RBIs. He's the best defensive catcher in the league. Um, and he doesn't take any crap. And if someone needs to be told something, he'll get right up in their face and say, "That's good to have him and Dino." And I mean, I have a different tactic, but those guys just, they want to win at all costs, and they will do anything they can do for the team. And I just, every year I look at it and, like, if you ask me who's the MVP, who's the MVP, who's the MVP, it would either be Paul Goodwin or Christine, and they both still rake. Um, they're two of my closest friends, and you know what? They're really good teammates, and but Paul just defensively is just. I mean, we have other teams that say, "Hey, can Goody play with us next year?" It's just like, no, no, you can't. So I would say Paul Goodwin. Chris Curran's got a good shot because he's a leadoff guy, lefty in the lineup, fast. It's exciting. Can't get rained out. Cannot get rained out with me.
All right. Well, hopefully
I'm
you don't. Hopefully we can get
ready to go.
you versus the Mets on. I think it's April 13th.
Yeah, this
So
Sunday was supposed to play the Mets at Medway High School, and I went there. I'm going to go there tomorrow to check the field out, but I got an email from the director at the Medway Recreation and said it doesn't look too promising, but you never know what can happen. So listen, it's not life or death, but it's close.